What's poppin', y'all? We back with another episode of the Squid Games Aftermath podcast. I am your host, DeAndre, aka Player 288, and today I have with me a very special guest, one some of the peoples have been clamoring for, have been dying to see, have been itching to hear from, Miss Radhika, Player 352 in the building, and the lieutenant was popping.
Hello, how is it going, guys? So glad I could finally hop on this. This podcast has been popping off.
Yeah, we trying. You about to make it pop even more. Come on now. She's about to make it blow the top off the podcast. So that's what I'm gonna say. So Radhika, tell the people where you coming from, please.
So I am currently in the UK. I live just an hour outside of London in my humble town of Milton Keynes. And I'm one of only a few British squids in the whole of Squid the Challenge.
Yeah, there's not too many. So y'all came in there with a deficit already, but y'all rallied the troops and did what y'all had to do. So we're gonna get right into it, Radhika. Tell me, why did you apply for Squid Game the challenge?
Okay, so I applied for Squid Game the Challenge back in summer because I genuinely thought I had a great chance winning the show just on my skills and my social skills and my technical is in well, I'm actually an engineer. I have my own company. I am an ex-stockbroker, so I'm good with negotiations, and I'm also super fit and flexible. I teach pole fitness and aerial arts. So I thought that gave me an edge, but then to my surprise, all the games had an element of luck. All the games had an element of luck, maybe apart from red light, green light. But God, it really threw me off. But I genuinely thought I had a great chance at getting that 4.56 million.
Hey, I did too. I saw you in the first game, and I was like, "Oh, this girl ain't playing now. She got the whole nine going on with her." Okay. So you applied for the show,
You
and you
know?
getting ready to get all your stuff together. And so when you're packing your bags, and you don't have to go super far because you're in London and you're near London, and the show's filmed in London. Tell me what's going on the night before you leave to go to the hotel when you're packing your bags.
Oh my God. So the night before I left, this is so boring. I packed my bags and I was literally wrapping up all my taxes, all like sending off all my messages to my accountant and all my employees in my company to basically run the company while I'm away. I know it's super boring and technical, but I was not only was I super excited, but I was also super worried because I'm literally leaving all of my work, everything behind. I'm not going to have any contact with the outside world. So I had to wrap up so many things, work, business, personal, related, before I left. And I was just running on absolute fumes that last week. But the night before I came into the whole Squid Game universe, I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. You know, like that meme of the kid that has like is going on a school trip the next day and has his outfit laid out on the bed next to him, and as he
Mhm.
sleeps, that was literally me. That was literally me. I'm such a big game fan, so it was such an exciting experience. Honestly, from start to last moment.
Okay. She had her school clothes planned out and everything ready to go. I like it. I like it. You got to prepare if you want the success to come that you want to have. So that's good. That's good. Okay, so you get
That's
down there,
it.
quarantine for a couple
That's it.
days, and it's time to get on the
Yeah.
bus to head to the first game. Tell me what's going on in your head when you're on the bus.
Bro, I'm trying to suss everyone out. I'm trying to stay focused. It's also 4 in the morning, mind you. My brain is absolutely everywhere. Again, the night before, I don't think I slept well just because of the excitement of it all. Luckily, my tracksuit is nice and cozy, but the weather outside is so cold. So in my head, I'm thinking, I hope we're going to go somewhere really warm and comfortable. But all these things were going on. Honestly, all these things were going on, but I was trying to suss everyone out.
Okay. She was scouting the competition, looking at everyone like it's the combine. And so when we finally pull up to the first game, and we know it's red light, green light. They have it. They tell us before. What's going on in your head when you first walk into the red light, green light arena?
Bro, I'm thinking this set is insane. It is huge. And I finally deeped just how many people there are. Like, how can you even imagine how many people or how big a crowd of 456 people even looks like. Like that is my competition that I need to be to get the 4.56 million. So one, I was deeping the competition, like how big and vast it was. But secondly, like seeing the set and how much it clearly resembled the exact set on Squid Game. Oh my god, as a big fan, I was literally just fangirling the set. Honestly, it was so fun. But also it got me thinking of all the strategies that I prepared before I started the game.
Okay. So what are these strategies?
Good question. So, my first strategy was to help as many people in the first couple rounds build alliances until it was like no longer feasible to do that. So, I knew from the start that they would be playing the song in Korean. So, I taught myself the song in Korean, literally, 모궁화 꽃이 피었습니다. And I hope I said that right to all the Korean people watching this, Korean speaking people. But because I knew the song, it kind of like news kind of spread among the tents that we had backstage of the people that knew these songs, and I was one of the few. So loads of people came to me and were just like, "Can you please sing the song just so we can get familiar with it?" And I was like, "Yeah, guys," and I sang it really slowly for each person, and I said, "Just pick a sound in that song where you're just gonna freeze. You know, pick a sound before the end. You hear that, you freeze." Just so you don't get caught out when that doll stops singing. And that's how I actually made so many incredible friends, like from the start. So really played to my advantage. Was so safe when I stopped and paused when the girl stopped singing. And that's how I made it across, like completely unharmed.
Okay, okay. She made it. She was making it through, but I must ask. So when you first started and you had the first pause, 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. What's going on in your head?
I also had like, it was so cold. My nose was running. My toes lost all feeling. I was in a slightly like forward squatted position. I was so angry. If you saw my face, if the cameraman panned across my face, it would literally be making the most screwed face ever. I was so angry. I think at all of production for feeding us lies at the start. And it was not 10 minutes waiting. It was not 10 minutes waiting at all. It grew to like half an hour to 40 minutes to like creeping up to an hour, I feel, for some rounds. It was absolutely horrific. But you know, I was shaking, I was just breathing all the way through it. I was trying to distract my mind and count all the players in front of me. I was honestly just trying to like play mind games with myself just to keep myself occupied as that horrendous wait carried on. But yeah, you kind of just had to like forget about any pain and just carry on. I don't know how you felt. Maybe it was the same for you, or
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. It was not an easy task and feat to go through, and definitely one of the worst things I've ever done. So, yeah, that speaks.
true.
You speaking all that truth. So, but we making it through little by little, and you get near the
Yeah.
finish line. So when you get near the finish line and you see the finish line in sight, what's kind of going through your head?
I what you've spent hours playing this game. Last little one, don't step too early, don't step too late. Um, Luckily, I was very close to the finish line. That once the doll started singing, I made a quick run for it and I was already across the line and so happy. But what a lot of people don't know is people's squid packs exploded after they crossed the finish line sometimes. And that's why I didn't celebrate until we literally got taken out behind stage and the guy with the iPad was just like, yes, player 352, pass. Player da 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 da, pass. And only then did I literally like scream my lungs out, nearly cry, nearly fall to the floor. But I was ready to collapse by the end, I think. But
Oh, that
yeah,
was
I,
that
I
was
I
you
don't know
screaming.
why. It was just so tense. It was so tense. I felt like I couldn't enjoy that final moment. Oh my god, they really had us stressing in there, bro.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was a lot of hot sauce on the chicken, as I like to say. Uh, but we moved, so congratulations, player 352 makes it through the first game, and she is on to the next round. So we get soon. It's time to go to the dorms, and so when we enter the dorms for the first time, tell me what are you thinking and what's going on in your head?
Oh, what? So when we were going into the dorms, I felt like, oh my God, this is where our experience starts. Like, we are going to be spending days in this place. I'm so excited to see what it looks like. Also, I really, really like heights and like high vantage points. So I was ready to just like run to the highest bunk bed as well. So I was super excited to like pick out my beds, pick out my little like bed neighbors. We had such a cute little girl group in there as well, and like actually a cute group in there in general. So I was just so excited to get inside, get acquainted, have a little bit of comfort returned back to us that was taken away during red light, green light, and just settle down a little bit, you know, before the craziness starts. But I was so excited. Also, really excited to see, as it sounds really morbid, but like how many people went out and got eliminated in the first round, just to maybe make ourselves feel a little bit better for what we accomplished.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was definitely nice to see some progress being made in the game, which is what it's all about. And so when you also get in the dorms, so tell me, what are you thinking? Are you trying to talk to
That's
everybody? Are you
right.
trying to just hang with a little small group? And who do you become close with?
So as soon as I get into the dorms and get cozy, I am trying to actually speak to everyone, make friends with everyone, but also I feel like I'm quite a good judge of character, so I keep my distance immediately from a few people that are acting up a little bit or think quite highly of themselves. My game plan in there was have some quiet confidence, you know? So have some quiet loyalties and quiet confidence. So have a little group that I trust, that will have my back, that if they get given any advantages in games that they might, you know, then pass them on to me as well. And that group involved Syed, Onur, Rochelle, Sam, um, Lucia and Mama Sese, and also Husnain, who was in the group too, and also Kevin. So it was a nice little group, but we always chatted to other people. I remember chatting to Lindsay, who was also on the other side, Passion for a little bit as well, but bless her, she lost her voice because red light, green light was so cold. I spoke to even Brad one night after we finished Dalgona, and we had like a cute little DMC. He is so interesting to talk to, but everyone in there was so interesting to get along with. You just find random people like in the bathroom, in the shower, or whatever, and you just randomly start making conversation. You don't have to have anything in common, but you'd obviously just finish like the craziest, most abstract like experiences before, so there's always something to talk about, I feel. And you just feel quite bonded in that way. So I think making relationships in the dorms almost felt like kindergarten. It was literally just like, yeah, like, what's your favorite color? Mine is this. Okay, so is mine. Let's be friends. It really felt like that. And it was just so pure and nice. But on the flip side, like, you always had to like keep a healthy distance because and have that awareness that this person could also just stab you in the back, and be the one that you have to go against in a competition or a trial. So it was trying to find that like little balance, but definitely I made alliances pretty quickly in there. I just felt like you had to.
Yeah, no, definitely. You had to get around and talk to the peoples, or else, that could be you being the one sent out. And so when 200 eventually gets voted out, tell me, what are you thinking when you see this go down?
So when they announced that 200 was going out, one, it was literally the day that I got to know this guy's whole life story. Like, I got to know about his motivations. Obviously, we're both from South Asian background. We're both Indian, and like, we discussed how it feels like to be Indian and British in this country, about growing up, about our struggles, about our ambitions, about his daughter. Like, I found out this whole guy's life story, only to have him literally taken away from us in the evening. And he was also the one that like led a lot of games and was quite like a big character in there. So immediately I was thinking, you know, when as soon as they announce exactly what number it is, I'm going to look around and see whose expressions kind of look a bit guilty, whose expressions look a little bit scared, or if they're feeling a little bit vulnerable, maybe because they were the ones that got him out. So that's what I was doing. I had a bit of an idea that it was the two people that actually voted him out, because someone actually told me that they had their suspicions. So this was also going around. But yeah, I was upset when he left. And it was just a shock. It just also reminded us that you got to be so careful of absolutely every single thing you do in that place, because you're going to be judged on the smallest thing, because that's all people have to go off of in there. So I think that definitely made me almost like pattern up and really have to be very careful with every single word that comes out my mouth, every single action that I do, and just be really aware of how I treat others, because I don't know, he came off really well, but maybe he pissed some people off for being so loud.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was cool to me too, but you know, some people have some other plans. So definitely, if I can talk to one of them too to
He was
figure
cool
out
too.
exactly why. Yeah, so we'll see. Well, we don't.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So eventually,
We'll
we
see.
leave and we go into the white room for the first time, and we see these four lines. Tell me what you're thinking when you first get into the white room.
I'm thinking I know exactly what this is. I mean, I watched the games. I knew it was the cookie challenge. I knew that there's four shapes, there's four lines. It was all matching up. It had to be. But I knew there was a twist. I knew there was a twist, because it can't just be that easy. In the original game, in the Netflix series, they obviously line up behind the shapes, you know, and whoever got umbrella, you know, was out more or less. But what we did going in there was we just picked like a random line. We honestly did. Whoever we were friends with, sometimes we'd stay with them, sometimes we'd absolutely leave them and go to another line. But I had a feeling there would be a twist in there, and for something in the game was out of our hands. And hey ho, that's exactly what happened. But I had no idea Netflix would have it go down the way that they did.
Yeah. No, it was insane. So yeah, we get in there, and the first group can't make a decision, and then boom, they're out. Second group can't make a decision, boom, they're out. Third group gets in there, makes the decision. So it turns out to be the line order, which is circle, triangle, star, umbrella. Which line do you get into? All right, tell me. So you got the star. We fixed it. We got a little technical difficulties, but we back,
But
y'all.
we
So
back.
apologies for that. Yeah, we back. So when you get the star and you know you get inside the Dalgona playground, tell me how you feeling about the star and your process getting through it.
Well, so my team and I, when we were waiting in the line ready to go in, you could just tell that the anticipation was building, and so were the nerves. And we were next to the line that had the umbrella, and these guys were just so emotional and crying, and rightly so. Like, the chances of passing that are so slim. But we didn't feel like our chances were any better. But we had the advantage that we had straight edges in our shape, you know? It was just like a lot of scratching, but a straight edge. So we were thinking that we had a good chance. We also had like 5 points that we kind of need to like scratch it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we got
One
the
that
star,
you
you
did
know.
earlier. There we go. Oh, good luck with that one. Honestly, we had I remember so clearly in this, and this is also my first maybe interaction or exposure that I had to Mai, and she was telling another player, I believe. I was walking past because I just wanted to sit down with another group of friends. She was also in the line for Star, and I think I was walking past. Maybe she was telling Steven or someone, and I was walking past, and then they were talking quite loudly. And as soon as I walked past, they kind of like went like this and like huddled in to whisper. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, like I didn't think it was that deep, but fair enough. Kudos to you. If you want to play the game like that, you play the game like that. I also thought, you know, this is more of a technical game. Everyone already kind of knows what kind of tips to use, like spitting in the corners, spitting in the lines, licking it for as long as possible, and then just gently scratching it. And I felt like everyone kind of knew that, and everyone knew to kind of start with the corners first, put the spit in the corners, and then just let it sit there and start with the corners. So I thought everyone was kind of like open and sharing these, especially in the final 2 lines where the shapes are a little bit more complex. But no, that was the first like inkling that I got that, you know, May is like a seriously competitive player, and she's very, you know, reserved and sticks to her people. But when we went in, I saw the amazing set of the playground. It was so cool. I remember like hitting the swings. I remember doing the quick group good luck hype up sesh. I think TJ, I don't know if it was TJ or Brad was definitely in star with us. Maybe he led it, but it just got everyone's like motivation and energy just flowing and positivity going before we started the game. And I sat down with Husnain and Kevin, and we were just there like under the swings, working our way through the cookies. The timer had started. We had already witnessed like half side of the room like go through a crazy time. We witnessed a lot of people passing because we had to watch them do it first. So a lot of people passed, but there were so many casualties. So we were getting nervous in there. As soon as it was our turn to start, immediately all I heard was a lot of like licking and spitting, and it was one of the wildest games. But also I really enjoyed the feeling because we hadn't had any flavor or anything in our food for days and days and days by that point. So to have something sweet, like to actually feel some flavor, it was amazing. I could have honestly cried at that very point, but I had no time to cry because the timer was going down. I had to cut this little star out. Yeah, it was tough. At one point I thought my star was gonna break, so I really had to like knuckle down. I also kind of like covered my tin with my entire face so that none of the guards could see me in case anything happened. But no, luckily I managed to like get my star out somehow, like with my shaky hands, get it out, put it on my hand, and like show the squid, show the what are they called again? The squid.
Yeah, the guards.
To show the guards. And she said pass. I was the first one to complete it from me and Husnain and Kevin. I think this was about like, maybe we had 10 minutes to do the whole thing, right?
Yep.
Right? I think I finished like in about 6 minutes time or something. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, just over halfway. And I just ran out. I dropped the needle in the sand. We were meant to keep the needle in the tin with us. I dropped the needle in the sand. I was in such a like delusional state at that point. Grabbed whatever cookie I could find, even if it had sand on it. I just ran out. Didn't even want to celebrate again. And I showed them. They took a photo. You know, they had all their adjudicators like verify that I passed. And then immediately I just ate all the evidence. I just ate everything, even sand and all, because I was just addicted to sugar at that point, the second I licked that cookie. And 2, I just wanted the evidence gone. So that was my very traumatic rendition of Dalgona cookies.
Okay. I was definitely drama. You know, you was going through it. Okay. Hey, yeah, definitely. Well, congratulations. Player 352 makes it through the Dalgona cookie, and she's still in her way with the million for $4.56 million.
That's right.
And we keep it moving. So when we get back to the dorms and we see this phone booth, are you thinking about picking up this phone?
I mean, listen, our good old buddy Husnain, he had his own motivations for picking up the phone, and he kind of let all of our group know why he wanted to do it and why he wanted to pick it up. He didn't really want any treats or food. None of us actually thought that we'd be getting treats or food. We saw the phone and we thought, okay, the first person to touch it or the first person to pick it up if it rings is going to be out. So everyone was kind of like really steering clear of it. They didn't want that risk. They wanted to just lay low. They wanted to sleep throughout the whole day and not get involved with anything, you know, and just sail on through to the next round. But Husnain comes to us and tells us, listen, I want to get player 342 out. He's been annoying me. Let me just pick up the phone because I'm hoping that I'm just get him out. This guy was so confident, picked up the first time, and hey-ho, got an insane reward. I looked around the room because I was near the phone at the time when he picked up the first phone call, and the guard came down with that plate of chips and burgers. And I looked around the room. Everyone's mouth was watering. Their eyes were about this wide, and so many people just charged straight towards him. I think that was probably the lowest point in humanity that I have maybe witnessed in my life. The fact that after maybe, like, it was coming up to a week point at this point that we'd been in this experience, and the fact that everyone was so deprived from that many calories per day, and also flavorsome food, and it led to us all becoming absolute like seagulls attacking this plate of chips. I couldn't believe it. I saw people eating it from the floor, like literally picking up chips and bits from the floor. I was just so disappointed in everything, in the whole experience. We all felt so embarrassed afterwards. I don't know if the other players have said the same thing, but they definitely felt it and told me there. He unfortunately, Hussein, he had an empty plate by the end. We had the burger thief situation with Jada as well. And what's the biggest shame from that whole situation is that Hussein, obviously our group of friends, or like our UK alliance with like a few international people, he said, guys, I wouldn't have even wanted like the whole thing. Like I would have maybe had like a burger and a half, but I would have shared the chips with you guys. Just everyone absolutely attacked that tray. So at that point, even we were like really, really upset and slightly angry at some people for taking advantage of that whole situation. But yeah, it was crazy. I feel like that scene, Netflix could have definitely shown a bit more. I think we needed a few more like slow-mo shots, aerial shots to really show how wild that was. But yeah, so I was steering clear of the phone, but there was one other phone call that we had where I was very tempted. Very, very, very tempted. And you'll see me, I give a little side eye because I knew something is off. But I was very tempted to pick up that phone, and thank God I didn't.
Yeah, thank God you didn't. And yeah, we had a couple other treats as well. But yes, this other phone call was picked up again by Hussein. Hussein. I keep saying his name.
Hussein, yeah, we told him not to do it. Player 198. We told him not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he picked it up again, and then he had a little trouble trying to find someone else, and then they sent him out like an Amazon Prime package on a Wednesday afternoon. And yeah, so he was trying to find someone. Did you thinking about picking up from him, or since you guys are friends or anything like that?
So Rochelle and I, we were walking towards the phone. We were together, and Hussein, one thing about him I'd say is like, he definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I think a lot of the US people, they didn't really understand his humor, or like maybe British humor from time to time. He is a bit of a prankster as well, and definitely like I can see how he winds some people up. But for me and for his friends, he was actually such a loyal player. Loyal to the point where when Rochelle and I started walking up to the phone, he literally mouthed to us, "Don't pick it up." He literally said, "Don't pick it up." Well, no one else was like looking. He told Rochelle and I that. So he kind of saved our ass then. And that's also why I end up like not picking up the phone. So yeah, I have to thank him for that one. I don't know if a lot of people know this. They left it out of the whole thing, but he was a very, very loyal character.
Yeah, no, they did leave a lot out, and they, just kind of edited it the way they wanted to. But yeah, there's two different perspectives on that character. I mean, a lot of people did not vibe with what he was doing. I definitely think it's a language or a US UK barrier thing when it comes to that. Just like you said, 100%, because that's kind of like some people was like, good friends with 432, but I understood his humor, even though like we weren't best friends or anything like that. I understood it. But I knew like it was not going to come across well for other people that just don't understand what he's doing and how that comes across. So,
absolutely, I think you kind of have to be the kind of person that like can also dish out jokes as well as take them. and take things quite lightly. If you take things too personally, you're not going to get along with characters like 198 and 432 at all. I feel like you kind of need to be quite secure in yourself and also able to like take a hit and dish it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, yes, he leaves, and then it's time to move on, and we soon get to the third game, and we walk into the white room again this time, and we see 8 lines. So now what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, bro, this must be tug of war. Like, we've all been talking about it. There's even a drawing of it in the dorms behind the bunk beds. We're like, this has to be it, like, in order. If we're going to be really authentic and play Squid Game as it's meant to be played, it's going to be tug of war. And we have a feeling that, you know, Netflix and production will have made it in a way that's super safe. So immediately I'm thinking, I've been doing calisthenics and all this practice with some of the guys in the dorms. Again, they didn't show this, but we were doing calisthenics off the bed frames. We were doing like pull up and push ups, all sorts of things, gymnastics and all these cool moves. So immediately I'm like, okay, where are these guys at that I was doing it with? And also I know other people kind of saw me work out in there and also lead a few workouts and stretches. Because I teach pole fitness and aerial arts. So I think that's kind of why I got accepted into this like big muscly bros group, which is group 1 game. I had a lot of my friends say afterwards, Radhika, it was so funny seeing like all these muscly guys. And I was like, thanks. But it was good. And also what I really liked was what a lot of the women in there were kind of afraid of, especially when it came to battleships, was that we push to the side, and I think the guys would have like a bit of an ego complex and think they're the strongest things ever. But actually, I think what we saw in there. Oh, sorry, one sec. My dog wants to go out. Can I just quickly let her out?
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
A lot more. I found it was a lot more inclusive than I thought, and I'm so glad that it wasn't a case of like women or some people that, you know, people might not consider too athletically able approaching certain teams and just being like shunned away or rejected. It wasn't a case of that at all. But yeah, we all thought it was tug of war. We were even practicing like tugging on each other's arms as to what our grip would be, what our formation would be going into it. The guards, they pick out our team and team 3 to play first. So we all get up and we're all like squaring each other, like sizing each other up a little bit as well, and we're like, oh yeah, we got this, and then we get taken into the game, and that's when all of our jaws drop.
The jaws were on the floor because it is not tug of war, it is warships, and it's the whole game has been flipped up on its head. So when you see this, tell me your initial reaction.
So I see warships. I know how to play the game. In fact, I played it just 2 weeks before I came into the competition. I'm in a 5.5 year long distance trip with my partner, and he's in Austria. But when we sometimes have like date night, we're not together. We actually play online games, and one of them is warships. And we play all the time. We have our own like little ways of playing. So I was familiar with the game, but I thought, oh my god, this is Squid Game, the challenge. Like they're definitely going to put a twist in there. And for some reason, I'm just not feeling confident today. And when we got into the game, we were basically asked to deliberate who was going to be captain, and then later on they asked the captain to pick a lieutenant. And immediately my girl Jessie was like, guys, I played this game with my brothers. I'm really confident. I'm feeling it today. And I was like, I also played this game quite a lot. There was someone else who threw their hat in the ring. I think it was YJ, but YJ didn't end up getting picked. And then we also had Brighton, player 432, put his hand up and say like, hey guys, I don't really know the game, but I'm feeling really confident. And then everyone kind of looked at him like, Brighton, bro, that's not what we're doing right now. So then Jess picked, and she picked me as lieutenant as well. And I felt all right. I felt, listen, you know, me and my captain, we're gonna get through this. One thing is we're gonna place the ships fairly well. We're gonna pick some like obscure places to put them, but make it quite hard for the other team. So you know, we're starting game. It's a very slow start, and I can also see that my team One, they're bored because they're just waiting in the boats. It's not like they're involved in this game. So that's why Jesse and I, my captain and I, we have this kind of method where we kind of like tell our team what we're going to pick, and kind of just have them all agree, just so they feel part of it. And what I found with the final take was they kind of manipulated that so that it looks like Bryce and Adrian are calling all the shots, and then we're putting the missiles in, whereas it was actually the opposite. But you know what, like that's just what the final cut looks like. We saw Bryson make a ton of comments, and I don't blame him because I know his personality, and I can so imagine that he'd have something to say those sorts of things. But honestly, like I've had so many people ask after, like, what do you think about Brighton? And I'm like, it's like no big deal. Honestly, we had so much fun hanging out afterwards, and the game is the game. Honestly, the game is the game. But then I don't know if you saw our game, but like it started to heat up a lot more towards the end. We were neck and neck at one point. They had one of ours, we had one of their ships. They hit one of ours, and we hit one of theirs. And we were one away, and they were one away. But DeAndre, I don't know if you know this little insider knowledge that I'm about to tell you.
Go ahead.
One, and I'm not going to say who, a person from our team in a boat that had collapsed and gone and sunk, actually shouted out the final spot where the other where the other team were going to hit us to win. And they shouted this out on a random, like no one was expecting it. And we turned around and we said, why the hell did you do that? And he just said, it's reverse psychology. Like they're never going to pick it. And we were literally looking at him like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Because there was still one other spot that the other team could have taken, given the ones that they already had, And then hey ho, the other team, the red, end up picking that spot that got yelled out. And there we go. My captain, myself as lieutenant, and that small little boat that had Brighton and Adrian, and that was the game. I don't know if you've heard that side of the story before, but yeah, that's why I kind of feel like maybe that win was taken away from us. But it is what it is. And it didn't even make the final cut.
Yeah, that's crazy that they edit that out. I'm shocked. That's a pivotal point in the story, I think, and that was a game changer for a lot of you guys, and that's highly unfortunate. I mean, the person who did that, they need to keep their mouth closed, and definitely wasn't a cool move at all, because I mean, it's a game, but come on now, you ain't got to play like that. You don't got to play like that. So
no. But
yeah, that's sadly how the journey ends, on a very sour note. I'm definitely, it's some people watching are like happy you guys lost for obvious reasons, and then some are sad, of course, because of other people. How do you feel like watching it back? How do you feel like looking back at the warships in particular?
I felt originally, the first time I watched it, I was so excited. I was so happy. Honestly, so proud of myself for even competing in it. And it was so nice seeing me and my captain like make the decisions that we made and hit the targets that we hit. Honestly, it was incredible to watch it back. When I saw what the final edit was like, I actually laughed. If anything, I laughed at so many of the comments that were made. It was so funny. And then the comments that I've had after on my social media saying stuff like, honestly, you did so well in warships, you were so close. Some comments were like, well done for getting 342 out, which I thought were a little bit out of pocket. But honestly, everyone has an opinion, don't they? They really, really do. But it was so fun watching it back. They made it look very dramatic, which I'm really happy about, because it was.
No, your guys' game was the longest one shown by far.
Yeah.
And
it was
definitely, they showed pretty much every move that was, well, all the hits that were made, at least. They didn't show all the misses, but they definitely showed all the hits and all the reactions, and it was, they missed a few key details in there, and then like the postpartum effect and
Mhm.
everyone's reaction when you guys lost. That was a key thing they missed as well.
That's so true.
Because yeah, I heard, some people, I mean, I heard some things were said, and then people on the other team weren't too pleased about this, and it kind of went a different direction per se.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are unfortunately eliminated there. So when you get back to the hotel, tell me the vibe and tell me how you feeling.
So when we were being transported to the hotel, we actually had food, like these snacks, so many snacks, these sweet, savory biscuits and treats, and flapjacks and cereal bars. We were going crazy. We were absolutely going crazy, but we had to slow down because we didn't want to eat too much sugar, especially after going like over a week without it. So we were feeling okay. We were talking about it. We were also saying how stupid we found the whole game, because it was just like down to a game of luck. We were so close. Also, it was just such a boring game for a lot of the people in the boats. It just didn't feel that tense. And it wasn't a Squid Game game. So there were a lot of things that were being said. Maybe I think, we were definitely all a bit butthurt from the experience. But we were happy. We were cool. And I won't lie, I think that was the coolest like group to kind of leave the whole experience, because we had such an insane hotel party afterwards. Like, there were drinks flowing, there was all sorts of conversations happening. We were going from like room to room to room. I think we were awake until like 3-4 in the morning or something. And then a lot of us had to have our interviews the next day. So it was a really, really fun night. And whatever differences we had, even when I spoke to the person who yelled out our final position, it was all fine. It was all love. It was absolutely like, there was no deep feelings, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was all good. That crowd that went out, A+, elite, perfect.
Yeah, no, a lot of the big personalities went out in Dalgona, and Warships especially. So definitely it was a big shift at those two
Yeah.
games with the people that were out of the game, because the people who had to step up, usually if you had to step up in the game, you were kind of booted out shortly after for the most
Yeah.
part. The people who were quiet in the back, they kind of lasted longer and not volunteering for things and whatnot. So definitely that seemed like the game.
It seems like
The
a
game
game.
plan,
Also,
so.
I think that battleships and maybe Dalgona a bit as well definitely proved that this whole game is not rigged. Like, if Netflix wanted to keep their best people in, they would have kept their people in somehow. But these big hopeful characters like Brighton, like Tayo, who was the first one to complete red light, green light, Syed, who also was one of the only ones to finish Umbrella, and like so many others I can name. They all went out in battleships, and it just goes to show this whole thing is a game of luck, and it's anyone's game.
Yeah, anyone's game for sure. So when you get out the hotel and you get back home, how are you feeling now?
I was a bit emotional, I won't lie. I told mom, like, this whole experience was not what I would have imagined in my wildest dreams. But it took a few weeks, I think, to kind of get out of that. I call it like the Squid Game universe. Like, do you know what I mean? It took me a fair few weeks to kind of get out of that. I when I first got out, I just wanted to be back in there. I'm sure you felt the same. I just wanted to be back in there and like have my moment to do the games properly. But overall, I was so happy that I actually even made it to dorms. I didn't go in with any expectations. I went in thinking I could win, but I didn't go in with having these expectations. And I'm so grateful and privileged to come out to the life that I have here already. So it doesn't seem like too big a loss. It sounds like a great experience. I met people around the world. And I'm just going to find other ways to make that 4.56 million. Honestly.
That's right. She definitely going to do it, y'all. She definitely going to do it. I can attest to that. Well,
Yeah.
Radhika, you had an amazing journey. Kind of, at least you got to go out on your terms. It wasn't on anyone else's. So that's a big thing as well, where you can kind of just, it's easier, I guess, when you have those, when that's the exit policy itself. So definitely give you your props. You did amazing. It was wonderful meeting you in there and outside as well, because I got to come see you for a little bit. And
No, that was
yeah, definitely.
more often. Honestly, we love you. We love your energy. All the UK squids. So definitely come back. And I'll have to make a trip up to New York as well soon.
Yeah, come through. You know, definitely. I'm trying to get back as soon as I can. Hopefully sooner than later. And you know, we definitely kick it when it gets nicer outside. Because I don't think I'm gonna be coming when it's cold like this.
No, in the summer for sure.
So, Radhika, do you have any parting words for the people before we depart?
I'm just gonna say, guys, apply for season 2. Honestly, it's the most abstract, wild, weird, almost like prison-like experience that you're willingly ever gonna go into. And it is epic. So I definitely recommend everyone apply just to get the experience.
Hey, apply. It's experience is, you know, it's worth any amount of money, I'd say.
Yeah.
You'll leave with a whole different perspective on life. Trust and believe.
It is that. It is absolutely that. No, well put.
Oh, and then you'll lose some weight too. So if you need to go, you know, you want to lose some weight, go on Squid Games.
It's true. Someone else is counting your macros for you. Your food is all being cooked. You all you have to do is chat all day. Chat.
Exactly.
Play a few kids games. And that's about it. So honestly, if you want to take a bit of a holiday, go apply for the Squid Game.
Yeah, do it now. Well, Radhika, I appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure and privilege to get to talk to you and get your perspective on things. Definitely was wonderful to have you. And with that being said, till next time, y'all, we out here. Peace and blessings, and thank y'all. Until next time.
Thank you.